All right, so we're here on another Couch Coach Live, another Tuesday edition of this week's Couch Coach Live. Got a great show lined up for you guys. Maui, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? It's been a
Yeah, a
hectic
little
day today.
bit.
How you been, man?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Another week, just grinding.
Okay.
Yep,
Right.
nothing
How
crazy.
the
Just
sports and everything been treating?
good, man. I just been chilling, man. Just been enjoying the games. I don't think I left my home this weekend. To be honest, I think I went somewhere Sunday just to grab something to eat and then came right back. But yeah, man, it's been great to me
Mhm.
because I didn't leave the home. I put it this way: this is the ultimate the stay at home orders. That's definitely was in place this weekend, especially with the reset of the NBA officially. So how was your week?
That's what's up, man. Oh man, same old work. You know what I mean?
Yep,
Taking in what I could take in, try to get ready
absolutely.
for the show. You know what I mean? And
Yep, yep,
try to get the best perspective that I can.
yeah, yep. So as we just alluded to earlier about the NBA reset, so let's get to it, man. So let's talk about the NBA bubble. So we'll do our weekly at this point bubble talk. So,
hmm
what are your biggest takeaways from the first weekend and a change from the bubble?
Uh, um, when you say takeaways, just how I felt about everything,
Just
or
your
just
thoughts, yeah. Just
basically just
overall,
say
yeah.
okay.
Just overall
I
takeaway. I mean,
I just
nothing,
think
nothing crazy, but
I just think that I don't have any um like I'm just happy that sports is back on. I'm happy that they really went all out their way to necessarily make the blueprint of how they go move forward right now with sports. And like I saw the announcers that was going to announce the game and how they had like the plexiglass around them
yeah.
and the social distancing. It just all around. I think it's cool. The interactive fans is cool. I don't have anything negative. It does have a, a I'm getting a different feel. Like it, not the. It doesn't seem like the NBA, I guess, because the fans ain't there. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it's something completely different. They really do. Almost like the NBA AAU. You know what I mean? Which is it's not a bad thing. It's
Oh
just I
no.
just think it might be a different game than it can't. It's just a different style or different type of game. And I don't know, from what I'm looking at, I think some teams is figuring that out.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, I mean, I love it
Yeah, I
because
love
I
it
think
too.
initially my first thought was like, okay, and that's I guess maybe because I've been to a tournament of that nature. Like I've been to that
hmm
to the Wild World of Sports, and I went to a basketball tournament, and they said they had four courts, and I was thinking they all gonna be divided by volleyball nets, and it's gonna look like the YMCA court. Because initially I
hmm
was like, this is gonna look stupid with no fans,
hmm
but they did a
hmm
great job with even the screens where they kind of it shows you like as far as the kind of the home court advantage, quote unquote, when you have certain things like the virtual fans. Like it was cool, like seeing like Jason Tatum's son, and also it's Paul
hmm
Pierce the other day. So I thought that was cool. And then
hmm
just that whole personalized touch. One thing I really like now, I think even though we have the primetime games, the matinees, we have pretty much like the local coverage of the team. So it was good. Like the other, like I think it was the day seeing the Nets broadcast team. I think the other day I had a chance to catch a couple other teams broadcasting. So that's kind of cool to kind of so, like the dork in me is like, oh man, who's covering their games and like
hmm
Miami. I like their play by play guys and even the
hmm
Lakers guys. I think when during the scrimmage, obviously you probably won't get to see them as much because they'd be on prime time for the most of the time. It's just as normal as it could possibly be. Like to me, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, when we think about when this idea was discussed, or even before before they actually suspended the season, how can we be in these arenas without any fans? That was the
Right.
first inkling, but now the NBA has done a great job with that. I just like, and then like the whole like the personal touches where they have like the images of the team's logo on the court. So
Yeah.
that's another kind of cool thing. And then of course with the screens and what have you. Another takeaway: LeBron, do not, whatever you do for the rest of your career, please do not dye that beard. You are representing the salt and pepper gang to the
He
fullest.
crazy. He
Please
crazy.
don't do that. Please, as a honorary member of the salt and pepper team, keep that beard. Keep that gray in that beard. Please, I beg of you.
You silly, man.
The Suns, yeah, huh?
Silly. Go ahead.
The Suns are 3-0 on the
Right.
back of Devin Booker's fadeaway jump shot to beat the Clippers earlier today. And once again, Paul George is on the other side of on the bad side of clutch moments in NBA history in the last 12 months.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, and
I mean, I didn't know
mhm.
that. So that is extremely great. I didn't know that. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
Devin Booker did his thing, and slowly but surely. But the Phoenix Suns, the team that even I said they shouldn't even be there,
Right.
they're undefeated in the bubble. But
Right.
even though they still have a chance, but I think it's only about 5 games left. It's potential there, but I mean for them to be undefeated, it's a great feeling. I mean, and then the Indiana Pacers, another 3-0 team without their All Star and Sabonis. I'm like,
Right.
and it's another thing, and the emergence of T.J. Warren, which we'll probably talk about a little
Mm.
later on.
You know
But
it.
the bubble is it's for the most part, and just the fact of they really have contained the coronavirus. They have flattened, well, not even
Yeah.
flattened the curve. They ended the curve. There is no curve in the bubble.
Right. And I think that with everything, a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about because of that, because of how what the NBA has done and moving forward and the decisions that they made and how they made a blueprint. I think a lot of sports that even a lot of sports is going to take into that. Okay, this is what's going to work. If we're going to make this happen, we need to go this route. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It is what it is, and and kudos to those spoiled millionaires that they like to talk about, that is making sacrifices, being there and making the best of a situation that I'm sure
right,
makes them feel uncomfortable. You know,
right,
you know.
right,
So I mean, even that you don't hear really any negativity. You haven't. I mean, I know it just started, but still, we haven't heard anything necessarily crazy. They tried to make a story out of something that wasn't really, that's old news now. So that's why I ain't really say no names, but um
yeah,
you got to give it to them, man. And players that nobody talks about has a chance to really show who they really are. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's another thing. That it's a lot of players, even star players, that people don't even watch them. All you going by is what they say on these shows. But now you have a chance to get to watch these guys because you're not really doing anything else. You know what I mean? Now people
right.
get to see hard and actually play defense. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, like, you feel me?
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity because like this is the first time I probably seen the Nets play.
Right,
And I mean, I think I seen them play a couple times, but not like you know. And then I was able to see the Suns play this, earlier on
right,
today. So I was like,
right.
it's kind of like it's just like cool, like I was saying, like you get the coverage, especially when they have the matinee games, because of course they're on NBA TV.
hmm
So
hmm
you get the local broadcast team, and I like, they do, for the most part, everybody does a great
They do a
job,
good
and I'm
job. Yeah,
fascinated by it. I'm like, oh, this is here, and got to
and
hear Doug Christie the other night. Like,
right.
wow,
Even players you ain't seen in a while. Yeah, players
yeah,
you ain't seen in a
and
while.
I mean, it's cool. Like, it's just one of the things where, and the games have been very good.
Hmm
Another thing too, it kind of is funny, kind of more so like you said. It don't feel like the NBA. To me, it
Yeah,
feel like more like the NCAA tournament minus the
right,
fans. Because you look at
right.
the game, the runs that teams go on, and then it's weird. Like what's another thing that strikes me is how these double digit leads get evaporated in like seconds. It
Right.
feel like in seconds.
Right.
I mean, it's almost
Right.
like a team could be up by 10. You go grab a sandwich, grab something to drink, run the
hmm
restroom. Boom, the other team is up. And like it's funny because that Milwaukee that Milwaukee Brooklyn game this early
Hmm.
today, that literally was like a 1 versus 16, and the 16th seed won. Because it's crazy because they had a eight, like the Yankees had a line that's like I think they were a 16. I think they were a 16-point underdog. And I'm like, really? I know the Nets
Wow.
are bad, but 16 in the NBA, that's disrespectful.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it is, but
I mean, yeah, I know, but I mean, just the line for itself is 16. I'm like, whoa, like that's crazy. And then for them to win, so
wow. And this
yeah,
is Crawford's
yeah,
first game, right? Today was Crawford's first game playing, right?
yes, and got hurt, messed his
Wow.
hamstring up, and I like he's done.
Wow.
I feel bad for him because and especially at 40 to have a hamstring injury like that is oh boy, I feel for him.
Wow.
Yep, this is his first game. I think he had 5 points in 6 minutes, and then he got hurt.
And that's another thing, man, that I think a lot of people are gonna be paying attention to. It's like, and especially teams too. Like, I wonder, should they make I don't know, some other adjustments, whereas like he got hurt, like a team that people opted out, star players is hurt, a lot of people opted out, and they're gonna have to get some more. Maybe they should have more on the roster or something like that. You know what I mean? Because somebody's gonna
Yeah,
have to take that. You know what I mean?
yeah, somebody have to take that spot. But
Right.
I forgot how many guys are able to travel with them, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's crazy because now it's filled with injuries. Like now, and obviously with just playing, the
Hmm.
is are greater. Then another thing I
Hmm.
didn't like what's going on, and they don't really necessarily have to deal with the bubble, but the reaction to Jonathan Isaac's injury. I just thought, and I understand, like
Hmm.
we understand, like guys, I understand, like we all have different
Yeah.
stances and different opinions, but we cannot
Hmm.
kill this young man for not kneeling and then laugh at him within 48 hours of him tearing his ACL, talking about different types. And I'm not gonna say what people were saying, but we
Right.
all know if I the complexity of it. We talking about an ACL and then him not taking a knee. So if you
Right.
just you'll know what they would say. And that's another thing I didn't like
Right.
how people handled it. I just thought that was just dumb. And you gotta understand, this guy is a 20-something-year-old young man. I mean,
Right.
it's just his, and he's very religious. And it's funny because we talked about him during the pandemic, the stuff he was doing. I think he was giving out meals to school age children because I think in one of the areas
Hmm.
that that he was in. Obviously, that was an area that was hit hard because, of course, these kids don't go to school. So that's essentially most of the times those kids' meals throughout the day while they're in school.
Hmm.
So he was very instrumental in providing tons of kids meals during the pandemic. So I was like,
Hmm.
I hated it when they first of all the first situation with the not kneeling, and then the injury. So it's like it was like a double whammy for me. It's like, I mean, I understand that the guy, he's young, he's religious. That's just his thing. And if he don't want to, that's not his. Don't crucify the man. But then when he
Hmm.
gets hurt, and we all, if you've seen the injury, it's. I mean, even if you don't see the injury, if you've seen someone tear an ACL, you
Hmm.
know the severity of it and how and the pain in his face, and it broke my heart because the young man was just crying. He was in the wheelchair. They wheeled him off.
Right.
He was in tears, and he
Right.
was
And
coming off a
then
great year.
right, and then and just because of what he did, everybody got to say something negative. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I seen that too. I didn't give it really
yeah,
any of my energy because I was just like, and I didn't even I seen it through like social media,
yeah.
which is one of the worst ways to see it. You know what I mean? But even speaking on the social justice part, like you know, I mean, I guess it's just to make some because I'm sure there's some got people that's in the bubble. They do want to be out there doing what the stuff that they was doing, especially it's the summertime, so I'm sure they had like community things that they've done and they was going to do anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I mean it's all cool, man. It's just expressing themselves, and what I do love about the NBA is that there were some guys, that were Caucasian that did stand up, put their hand on their heart, but everybody was together. That, and then
right.
you see white people kneeling too. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like to me it's just great. It wasn't fake like when Jerry Jones went down and went his knee real
Right.
quick and got up.
Or Ray
Like
Lewis.
yeah, it's more of you don't have to kneel, but we're all in this together. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's the best thing about it is that you
And
can
I.
have a different opinion, but we respect each other's opinion. That's the best thing about it and understand.
Yeah.
So
And I even like what they did with Miles Leonard, where they held his leg, well, it was around his
right,
kneecap. So, in solidarity, they was still while he was standing, one of the players was holding his other knee,
right,
one was on the other. So
right,
I like, I mean, I was cool with that, and even, like to me, it's your choice. This isn't
right,
mandatory. So,
right.
whatever you do, what floats your boat, it's you. So to me, I just don't like the fact because the kid he's done stuff in that community,
Right.
and he's not just some random run of the mill like
Mm-hmm.
just a guy that's just is just adamant and just being a jackass about stuff. No, this kid is in the community. This is a young man in the community helping this community. He's doing
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So to me, I don't care your stance, whatever. If you're taking care of the community and you looking out for other people, I give a
Right.
damn how you feel about anything. You're doing something. You're
Right.
doing your part as as
Right.
a citizen in your community. So
Right.
yeah, man.
Right. And and I think that's the most like sometimes like NBA is we know it's a corporation and they might can go overboard because they want to be a part of it. And that's cool. You know how somebody do too much,
Yeah.
but that them holding like him put his hand on his heart and them holding his leg and he having one hand, the other hand on his on his teammate. That's bigger than putting anything on the back of your jersey,
Right.
anything that's on the court. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's bigger than that. That's small detail. That's why we keep saying, less is more.
Right. Absolutely.
You know?
So, who's your biggest surprise coming out of the bubble so far?
Oh man, I had a few, but I'm gonna start off like I'm a big Fred Van Fleet guy. You know what I mean? I love it's kind of crazy, man, because it seemed like some of the best players are the ones that don't get picked. To me, basketball
Yeah.
is skill and everything, but it's also heart. And a lot of times, the best player be the smallest guy on the court. But him, what he did against Miami, 30 points. Let me see. I got Embiid too. Embiid looking good, like he in shape a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 30 points against the Pacers. Man, let me tell you something. Like, I'm Russell and Harden to me is bringing in an attitude that everybody in the bubble should have. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean? And that was I didn't think they were going to come in like that. Paul George health and TJ Warren. That's a beautiful story if they get traded for cash and
Right.
you know one game you just and in one game what 53 points, first player in what since Jermaine O'Neal to do that, first pacer anyway. Um that's crazy. Then the next game he played after that, he got 34. So
Right.
it's a opportunity for
Yep.
players who know they could play
Yep.
to take it. It's a really really big opportunity. It's really hard for us to even say what we think is going to happen because you don't know because there is an opportunity or a player or somebody you don't even think that is going to that's not even you wouldn't even think will ball like that is going to ball. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But Jalen Brown is doing pretty well. I got my big surprise too, but I'm gonna put that in my biggest disappointment. Um,
Okay.
Jaren Jackson, 40, shoot 40 points from
Yeah.
40% from the 3-point line. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
about it. Got a few
And
others, but that's about it.
I feel for him now. And I allude to him and my disappointment as well. But the Raptors, man, they keep rolling.
Yeah, and the Raptors, yeah.
They haven't lost since March the 1st, even though the league is suspended since in March 11th. But and a surprise, and it's funny. I'm finally glad now that OG Obinoy, I think I said his name. I don't know if I said it correct, but OG, I put it OG.
Right.
Because what's funny because he started showing shades of him being good. I forgot. I know he was harboring with injuries for like the last like year or so. Because I think I think that last time that Cleveland played Toronto, he was doing pretty good. And I remember like he's climbing, and he's getting there. And I think he did a great job on LeBron defensively the other night. Hit some great shots. His ball hand has improved expeditiously, in the words of Ti. And that's another thing where, and I forgot I was on a podcast the other night on Up in Flames, and I forgot it was something. I don't know if it was one of the guys we were talking, and it's almost like OG is kind of almost like how Pascal was last year, and now Pascal is now like literally like the Kawhi Leonard,
right?
Where he's going to be the next man up. Right, he's the next man up. I'm telling you, we always throwing stones. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but Kyle Lowry will get up and he'll play something. He'll do something.
Yeah.
We killed him mercifully because the Bleacher Report had him as the number 20th best player in the NBA. And we were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, wow! Like, that's stupid. Like, that's the most like it is crazy because we was mercifully killing Kyle Lowry. Cause like, there's no way he's not a top 20 player in this league. He's still not, but he's been balling. He's been doing this thing. He did a great job against the Lakers. I think that was a good game for him. But Kyle Lowry is another one. The Denver Nuggets, they're pretty much like a helter-skelter crew essentially, without having guys like Jamal Murray and Gary Harris. Guys are just stepping up. I mean, you're looking at like Jokic doing this thing. Well, yeah, right. I mean, yeah, but I mean, you think about it, you losing two guys of that nature, right? And especially when you're playing an OKC team who's really a guard-laden team, right? Which it's one of the things where they did a pretty good job. But yeah, I mean, and I always said the wild card for Denver was Michael Porter Jr. And once again, I think in that game he had 37 points. So he's a guy that I always like. I tell you, that's like I wish we would have got him, but that whole back injury situation, everybody was like, you should stay away from him. But I'm like, he's 19 with a back injury. Like, he's not 25, he's not 30. He's young enough to recover from a back injury. He's 19. At the time he was 19. I'm like, I understand back injuries, but he's 19 years old. Right, he's gonna be all right. So, and I kept on beating the drum for Michael Porter in Chicago, but people looked at me like I was crazy. But hey, I might be. Who knows? But the Rockets, once again, another one where they had two quality wins against the Mavericks and also against the Bucks. That was a great matchup on Sunday, where the last three MVPs squaring off. It's like, you know what, and the Rockets, I'm telling you, Rockets are playing with house money, man. They're another one where they got hot right before the suspension of the league, and it's carrying over. And I'm telling you, they're gonna shoot the three to death. Like in those two matchups, 109 3-point attempts. I was like, they're gonna shoot you to death.
You know what they remind me of? They remind me of a physical, fast warrior team.
Gonna say, yep. Essentially, right, and that's what they were kind of. That's the one thing too, where that team was always built for, like, if they were in a 7-game series against Golden State. Right. That's what, and honestly, that's what you're supposed to do when the league is the way it was, where the Warriors were so dominant. If having a team that could, you want to field a team that could beat them, so. Yeah, absolutely. And then, now Harden's playing defense. It's looking good. He's looking good. Got a little slim. I'm like, okay.
He got that got that look in his eye because he got the mask on. You see nothing but his eyes. And you know what I mean?
And the Brody keep doing this thing. So Brody gonna be Brody, regardless of however everything rolls down. He gonna do his thing.
Right.
And then the Brooklyn Nets. I said it a little earlier, but I was like, I almost literally was gonna put a poll on the Twitter page and was like, "Will the Brooklyn Nets win a game in the bubble?" Literally,
And then Dinwiddie opted out, right? So everything was on
yeah.
Levert, right? Right.
Man, they had. It was a dude. His name was like Cabaret. I mess people names for all time. It's like Cabaret something. He led the team in scoring, and then your boy got loose a little bit today. They let him out the cage a little bit.
Hmm.
Frank had like 11 or 15. I forgot, but Frank had like
Like I
11.
said,
Yeah,
the
they
guys
let
that
him
you wouldn't.
loose.
But I told you that they were going to do that because
Yeah.
the Lakers beat the Buck. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you,
Hmm.
it's a scary situation. I believe by next week, people are going to really be looking down at the Bucks
Yeah.
because you go back to what February and March. Remember, I told
Hmm.
you they put Frank and they put the second unit, third unit in. I
Hmm.
think I think Giannis got hurt
Yeah.
or he sat out.
Against
And then
Denver.
you know what I mean. But if
Yeah.
something was going on because I think they lost to two of the big teams, but I know they lost to the Lakers, and
Yeah.
LeBron got real physical with him with Giannis. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah.
first game they won, Giannis made like 5 3-pointers. Are you really gonna believe that he always gonna make 5 3-pointers? You know
Yeah.
what I
And
mean?
they got physical with him today too. And that's the crazy thing
Right,
about it. They
right.
got physical with Giannis today.
Because that's
But
what happened in the playoffs last year.
yeah. And I
Mhm.
like that. I'm telling you, and the way things are shaping out, this Nets and Buck team is gonna play in the first round. I mean,
Right.
I ain't saying no upset, but it's gonna make a compelling series. I don't, people, everybody's like, well, whoever Milwaukee play in the first round is gonna be 4-0. I'm like, I don't know about
It's
four
not.
zero,
It's not.
4-1, 4-2,
Right.
but ain't no 4-0.
Mm-mm.
I like, nah, cause that
And I think a
team,
lot of I think a lot of it's because in that bubble is a different game.
yeah,
You know
because
what I mean?
like, yeah, and it's almost like it almost feels like a tournament feel, where it's almost
Right.
like just, I mean, a 7 game series helps, but like if it was like a one and done, it's a wrap. Like we might mess around and
Right.
have a damn Houston Rocket NBA championship.
Right.
But the good thing about that is I still think if you play the best team always win the game of 7, but these aren't gonna be your sweep. Like you're not gonna have like I guarantee we're not gonna have a sweeps. We're not gonna have
No,
sweeps. I talk about it.
have you seen the court? Like if you really like pay attention to the court, the court is
Hmm.
smaller and it's a little bit it ain't as much space
Yeah,
that
because
you would
yeah,
think.
it's
You know what I mean? So
condensed.
it's real condensed and like I was watching the Laker game and I think it was what's the last team they played? Um
Who? Who?
the Lakers. What's the last team they played?
Utah. Utah.
They played
Utah.
Utah, right? So
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell and AD was going after him,
Oh, they got
was
tangled
going
out.
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's right. Caruso threw the ball up, or Danny Green threw the ball up. AD was going to get it, and Mitchell came behind him, and then I saw AD jump over like this banister. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I was like, man. And then LeBron earlier had fell into the banister, and then he was bleeding on his knee. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, this different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This different.
Yeah. Because this is more condensed. That's yeah, and I think that's just more so of just I don't know. I guess it's just how they space the things out. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting though. But I still think the best team is gonna win in a 7 game series.
Hmm.
But we not. I don't think we're gonna have any like like 4-0s. Like I think
Mm-mm.
they all gonna be competitive games. Like
Right.
and it's to me it's the NCAA tournament without fans at this point.
Right.
Where it just imagine the NCAA tournament with 7 game series is
Or the
essentially
summer
where
league.
yeah on the summer league
Right.
but it's gonna be fun like going down the stretch and it's gonna let you really and one thing too it's really gonna test your mental fortitude. Where I think we was talking about it the other day, where Portland, being down by so much and then coming back, But who's like if they
Mm-hmm.
were in Boston, oh, they would have been done by the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now you don't really have to worry about that. Where if you're quote unquote you're back against the wall and on the road, you're done. In most
Right.
cases, you're done.
Right.
So and like with the Lakers, if they would have been in Toronto and having that third down from the jump, oh, they would have never came back. They would have just got
Mm-hmm.
buried. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing too, where you're like, this is gonna be interesting. So let's see what's going on with Lamar. Let's see. The Clippers getting
Man, don't
warmed
nobody,
up.
don't nobody, don't
We got
nobody,
yeah, we
ain't
got shout
nobody.
out to Bill.
Man, we got to shout out Beijing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Clippers getting
what's
warmed
up?
up and go
What's up?
Clippers.
Aren't you a Cavs fan?
But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. I think going down the stretch, and then it's crazy because now, even these games, it'll be so pivotal now because now we're like halfway to the
Mm-hmm.
seeding game. So now, certain games are gonna mean certain for some people, as far as seeding and what have you. Especially that West, where everybody's at arm length of Memphis at this point, which
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. But yeah.
Right. Memphis was supposed to
So
come in with Memphis was supposed to come in with that Harden and Russell Westbrook mentality, and
yeah,
they seem like they didn't. You know what I mean?
and then what hurts them? They're young, so that's another thing too. And that's another thing. What's the complexity of it all is like when you think to yourself, okay, these are young guys. So is this gonna be considered their second season or the continuation of their first season?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's kind of like it's weird. Like, and it's just it's that's another thing too where you look at Memphis. Did that hurt? That really does it essentially hurt them of having that type of layoff when they've had
Right.
essentially because they started off real bad in the beginning and then they kind of rose up from it. So let's talk about your disappointments.
Man. At first, I was officiating. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like there was just entirely too many whistles, and
Mm-hmm.
but then like I saw Vogel had got a T. I had got a and they were like, and then I started thinking about it. Okay, I can understand why they doing it because you necessarily everybody's watching. You want to keep things a certain way, but
Yeah.
they starting to let them play a little bit, and it's getting physical. Like it's some of the stuff I'm seeing, I'm like, yeah, this is feeling like an open gym. Like it just don't feel like the NBA. It feel like it's more raw to
Yeah,
me.
it's
You
more
know what I
authentic.
mean? More, and I think that the hopefully the marketing team, and that's how I look at things, how I speak. Hope the marketing get with the officials so they can necessarily pick because they don't call every call. People, that's this. They're supposed to, but they don't. You know, so that we
Yeah,
can
human
design
error.
what we're really trying to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
because they can, if they wanted to, they can call 3 seconds every time. You know what I mean? But that's about it. I have no disappointments. It would just be wrong for me to be disappointed. I guess you could say
Well, I mean, as far
I
as
would
like
I
teams
would have
wise.
I would have said the Lakers, but the Lakers look like they did in the beginning of this season. They look exactly the same. Like AD turned out well, then it just looked the same to me. Um, I guess if I had to pick a team, I think maybe it's Miami. I think Miami is better than what they really showing. Um, Besides that, man, I think everybody just figuring it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really don't have too many disappointments. I think next week, if I get asked that question
Oh yeah, next week
again,
is gonna be different.
it's going to be different because like
Yeah.
I said, I'm trying to figure out when I look at things, how a coach and how they trying to move everything. Like I could sit there. I'm a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron fan. So they got waiters. They got different things they got to pick on. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling you, I said, man, I was watching Kawhi Leonard, and I said, man, he looks like he's tired or something. And then my
Yeah.
brother said
Mm-hmm.
that's just how he play. He always play like he hurt. You know what I
Right.
mean?
He
Paul
just
George,
ain't no
yeah,
emotion.
yeah. Paul George, he's shooting down just walk up threes. You know what I mean? And So like I just I don't have too many disappointments, man. I
Yeah.
really don't. I do think I wish Trey Young, I wish the Hawks was out there. They had a better record. They would have been in the bubble. So I would have loved to
Yeah.
see Trey Young. They would be probably crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying, that's about it, man. I don't really have. It's hard for me to pick. You know what I mean? Because I think we just getting started. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
it's gonna fluctuate because honestly, like 48 hours ago, I stayed in New Orleans. Pelicans didn't even deserve to be in the bubble, and
I am so
now,
sorry.
but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it great because everything now is different. Because now what they did, they beat Memphis yesterday,
Right.
and
Right.
now they're only 2.5 games out. Because we were like,
Okay.
well, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot because you
Right.
lost to Utah and you only put Zion in for 15 minutes,
Right.
which I
That's
guarantee you,
my
if he
part.
would have, right, yeah,
That's my
and if he
part.
would,
That's my
yeah,
fault.
yeah, but
I,
that's,
I
but
I
that's,
wrote that down. I literally wrote that down, and I was
yeah,
like, I seen disappointment. I seen officiated, and I meant to say that
yeah,
because I still think there's something weird going on with Zion that they not telling
yeah,
us. This dude
and they
cannot keep
not,
his
yeah,
shoes on. He cannot
yeah,
keep his shoes on, bro.
yeah, and that's another thing too, where 48 hours ago, I was like, okay, yeah, the Pelicans, like, they lose to Utah, then they get killed by the Clippers on Saturday, and I'm thinking, you think it's Sunday night, we're like, the Pelicans don't even deserve to be here. When you think about, they only played 30 minutes in between those two games,
Right.
and then lo and behold, look what happens here. They're a Brandon Ingram hot fourth quarter away. Now they went from becoming the disappointing team to damn, they actually literally might belong here. So,
So I seen some information on that. Somebody said that the reason they doing this bubble tournament or whatever is because they're trying to get Zion in the playoffs.
oh
Then
yeah,
they said what the Pelicans should be doing is trying to figure out how they can keep Ingram. He should be
yeah,
focusing on Brandon Ingram because he should be trying to get the max next
oh
season or
yeah,
something like that. You know what I mean? He
yeah,
gave a lot of
yeah,
information.
because he's 22 and he's averaging 25 points a game. Like,
Right,
those guys don't grow on trees that often.
right,
So
right.
you want to keep him up, and of course the league. You would definitely think the league would want that. They will definitely want who they deem as the next rising star in this league going against the Vanguard and LeBron James. That I
Hmm.
mean, that would make perfect sense from a marketing standpoint. Period. Where you got the established face of the league versus who they want as the face of the new league going forward once LeBron James leaves. It would be
Right.
a perfect storyline out of all the
It's,
matchups versus if you think about hell if Portland makes it. I mean, you
hmm
look at that's a nice headline. Sacramento make it. Okay, Luke revenge, but that's not sexy.
hmm hmm
San Antonio not sexy at all. Phoenix, not sexy at all. I mean, I
Right.
mean, it's okay. You got Bron versus a guy, versus Booker, but that's not
hmm
sexy compared to Zion and LeBron. That's
Right.
something. That's must see television every game that they
hmm
play. But that's another thing where that's what makes the banter great because yeah, like 48 hours ago, New Orleans, I was like, they don't even belong here. Hell, like, and I remember one time I was like, well, Sacramento looks good. Then that same night, they lose to Orlando in crazy fashion. And this is like
hmm
that's what makes it so great. Like you
Right.
like next week, the conversation gonna be different. Because now those guys are pretty much because you think about next week is the 11th. So essentially, that's gonna be that'll be the final week of the seeding games, where probably be 2 or 3 games left even next week, and it's just like yeah, everything's gonna change. But what's really the constant is Memphis. Memphis dropped the ball against Portland. They dropped the ball against they dropped the ball against New Orleans last night, and that's
hmm
another thing where they're sizable. They're 3.5 game lead going to the bubble is
hmm
almost damn near evaporated.
They beat the
And
Spurs, though,
now,
right?
no, they lost.
They
They 0
lost.
three. They
Okay.
have they haven't won. They haven't won a game in
Wow,
the
I thought they
bubble at
won that
all.
game. Wow.
And that's another way. And that's another thing where San Antonio looked great Sunday. I had San Antonio because San Antonio at that time were only like 2 out. Then they lost in the thrill of the Philly yesterday.
Right.
And that's what I'm telling. And that's what makes all this so intriguing. Like, it's you can say something today. I guarantee if we do a show tomorrow, we're gonna be like the Nets. Like, I literally was gonna be like, the Nets never win a game in this bubble.
I've always liked the Nets.
Yeah, but I mean, the Nets are a good team, but without Kyrie, KD, Dinwiddie, Jordan, who else is out there? Like everybody's gone, right?
But the only person, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's significant is Dinwiddie. The rest of them dudes are Brooklyn Nets. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna ball. We've been at the bottom. We've always had to play just to be playing. That's the beauty of this bubble. Seriously.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But you're saying Dinwiddie, but he's not there. That's another thing
right.
That's what I'm saying. They just signed Tyler Johnson off the street, Jamal Crawford off the street, and that's why. And then even in the scrimmages, they were getting dusted. So that's another thing too, where you're like. And that's one thing. That's what the beauty about this whole thing of, 1 or 2 games we talking about you in a negative way, and then you can have a win the next day, and the whole narrative changes. But Memphis is the only one that's been constant, and then now with Jaren Jackson being hurt, and I'm like, they're done. I mean, it's like almost literally, it's literally Portland and New Orleans AC to win, essentially. And that's where it's going to be interesting, too, of who's going to get that 9th spot and be able to play Memphis. I think that's another intrigue. Who's going to get that 9th seed? Because they're gonna play in that seeding game. So, and then can Memphis still persevere without Jaren Jackson? I don't think so. And and they're already a young team, and losing one of their young superstars, emerging young superstars in Jaren Jackson Jr. And now you're like, ugh, it's gonna be rough. But we don't know. That's another thing too. Where we're getting ready to dig a 6-foot grave for Memphis. We might mess around, be here next week, and they might mess around and have a 5-game lead over the 9th seed. That's the beauty of it.
I don't trust the situation with Zion. I'm sorry. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And that's another thing too, where when you're in the outside looking in, right? You're like, I mean, because you're at a point where you're here to win. You're not here to put essentially your franchise. Well, I would say it's franchise, even though he may not. I'll put it this way: he deserves more than 15 minutes, especially in the sense where if you're trying to win games. Oh yeah, something is wrong with him.
Right, and I know, and that's what I'm saying.
Something is wrong with him. I'm telling y'all. Something wrong with him, bro. Yeah,
but we don't. That's the thing where we don't know. That's the thing. From the outside looking in, of course, that's a red flag right there. When your 20-year-old quote unquote superstar only plays 15 minutes a game. And you're in a situation where you're pretty much in a do or die situation, because essentially, because you're at a point where you want to continue to be in the bubble as long as you can. Because why would you essentially do what you're doing and then you're gonna go home next week?
Right.
You might as well don't even show up. Like at this point, because if you get eliminated, you're done. Like you're gonna be home next week. Well, 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be talking about you going home, and you'll be on.
Isn't there the rest of their schedule is weak though, right?
And that's another thing too. Where what would you consider weak? Like that's what I'm saying at this point, because this is like, and that's the thing where that's what they have a quote unquote easier road. But this is different. Like we said, this is entirely different. This ain't a situation where you're like, okay, well, I'm playing this team, but then what team? It's different. It is. They have an
Right.
easier road, but that's another thing where I don't understand what's going on with Zion and what's going on with the
I mean,
Pelicans. To
who
be real
do?
with you, because and the thing about it is, it's weird because he's frustrated. So to me, it's something that's Griff that's doing. Griff is doing
So
something.
you know it makes me feel. It makes me feel like remember when the Browns had Baker Mayfield's first season and they wanted Taylor out there. You know, and it's like the organization and the coach and the players having
But
issues where the
it's
organization is like, please put him out there. You know what I mean? But then the
yeah.
coach is like, nah, we need to save him. We need to save him. That's what I'm thinking. But
Yeah, I think it's Griffin. I think it's David Griffin. I think upstairs.
mhm,
I think he's doing something. He's because I can understand if he like, and it's weird because
you don't think it's a
obviously
coach?
no, I don't think it's so. I think it's David Griffin. I think it's got to be
Really?
because I don't know. I don't know, and because I would think it's Alvin Gentry. I don't know. If for me, if I'm a coach, like
Hmm.
he could be the difference of me losing my job, like
Right.
literally. Because if
Right.
this Pelicans
I
team
got you.
don't make the playoffs, I might have to find another job, and it's gonna be hard to find a job with the league in such uncertainty at this point.
Hmm.
I'm keeping my job. I'm gonna shoot. I keep that Zion in. I be like what Jordan said, man. He said, "F what Kraus say. Put me in the game."
Right. Right.
But and that's another thing too, because you can see the frustration on his face. So that's why I was like, it's just the organization's holding him back. Where it's weird to me, and that's the thing too, where I don't know. I mean,
Man. Maybe he
but
should have went and played for the Knicks. Remember he said he didn't
shoot,
want to play for the Knicks? Did he say he didn't want to play for the Knicks or he wanted
I
to?
don't know. I don't know. I think he said he wanted to play for the Knicks. I don't think he
I
had
think
no
he
like
did,
demands.
yeah.
But he wouldn't have been in the bubble. He would have been chilling. It might have been a
He
good
might
point.
have.
Well, no, if he would have shoot, if he would have played, because he remember he ain't played in January.
Right.
They
But
definitely wouldn't have
still,
been in
you
no
see,
bubble.
I ain't never seen a
No.
player having issues with their shoes as much as this dude, though, man. Like he
Yeah.
went and did something and his shoe was off, and I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, what is going on with something going on with him? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Something going on. Something going on.
Well, I mean, I don't know, and that's one thing too, where that's the biggest question mark, and this was one of the things where if you look at it, I have to look at it from the standpoint of he's able bodied, and I can
Right.
see the frustration in his face. So to me,
Right.
I think if I'll put it this way: if he, it was up to him, he played 30, 40 something minutes a night. It's Gentry. I don't think it's Gentry, but it might be David Griffin, your boy David Griffin, potentially,
You mean Lamar's
allegedly.
boy?
Well, y'all boy, he just won that part a championship to Cleveland. Like
Right. He
all
my homie. I
y'all,
know him. Tell Lamar
yeah.
to
I
go
mean,
eat some.
Griffin good
Tell
though.
him. Tell Lamar to go eat some beans.
But yeah, that's another thing too, and that's what makes like the banter great
Right.
because we don't. I mean, like we might mess around and say San Antonio's good again. As far as they might creep up and do something, and then because another team we were like, well, why is San Antonio in? The only team that we know for damn sure that shouldn't be there is damn Wizards, and that's a fact. But other than that, like the Clippers, like the Suns, like we talked about earlier, the Suns
Hmm.
are there to be there. They just beat the Clippers, like they just beat the Clippers. So that can help them, go going
So if
forward. But
so if they win all the way out, you think they can make it?
who?
The
Phoenix?
Suns.
They would need some help. I want to say I think they 3 or 4 out. I'm not 100% sure, but but honestly, all you really need to do is really go to the ninth spot,
Right.
and you at least you got to be at least no more than 4 games out, and you'll do a the playing game. So everything, I'm telling you, everything's up for grabs. Like to me, I think I would say they maybe no more than about 3 or 4 games out with
Like, cause
what
before
5
the
games
bubble, they was
left.
they was 26-19. They won 3 games. They 29, and that's what the Trailblazers was. They was 29-37 before the bubble started. And what they won,
Yeah,
what Trailblazers won 2 games, or
they lost to they they only won one game, I think.
yeah, that's what I thought.
No, hold up, because did they beat the Mavericks? I keep on forgetting. I think they played. But anyway, I think I'm actually pulling up the standings now. But I have to check with Phoenix. Now Phoenix, wait for this thing to load up. So, but Phoenix, I mean, pretty much every team in the West has a legitimate shot to at least get to the ninth and play Memphis, or So that's another thing too, where that's gonna be the intrigue. Because the East is pretty much showed up. Like Brooklyn is just gonna backpedal into the eighth spot because the Wizards just shoot themselves every evening, and that's just how it is. Because I think, yeah, because Washington's 7 out, so they ain't gonna make it. They 7.5 out of Orlando for the eighth spot.
Mm-hmm.
So they done. Now, as far as Cleveland, not Cleveland, but
Yeah, please.
So Phoenix.
Anyway.
So Phoenix. Oh shoot! Phoenix is only 1.5 out of Portland.
I told you.
They only 1 out.
I told you. Because I'm looking, they was 26 when the bubble started, and if they won 3 games, they had 29.
Yeah, 29.
And I'm
39.
like 29, 39. I'm thinking to myself, well, Portland only
because essentially, I'm looking at Portland because from Portland on down to Sacramento, it's only a 1.5 game cushion. So sandwich between Portland and Sacramento is San Antonio, New Orleans, and Phoenix.
Damn. So San Antonio might have a chance to get in there, huh?
Yeah, they got a great shot because they're only a half a game out of Portland for that ninth spot. Because really, your goal at that point is at least get to the ninth spot and you play Memphis. And you're going to play Memphis as a wounded dog. And you just got to win 2 straight. And that's it. You just got to, as the ninth seed, you just have to win 2 games. And them, easily. Because they've been dropping the ball ever since they got to the bubble. I would take my chances. And hell, if you if you want to become more ambitious, you're only 2 games out of that ninth spot, and you might creep into that. So, I'm telling you, man, it's just going to be interesting down the stretch. Next week is going to be so interesting.
I think it's important for I want Booker to get some shine because he should have been in the all. It's like, you know what I mean? There's some guys that's really some dogs, man, that need to get some. People need to know who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
he finally got his due. Luckily, she got hurt. That's the only reason why he really got an all-star because Dame got hurt. But
then, coaching. Like I'm telling you, like even the Spurs, they said that he went on ahead and started doing small ball because the whole setup. He understands it's a whole different game in that bubble.
Right.
Pop. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Like you would think, we'd be having a conversation about the Kings because.
And that's another thing. We would have. I swear to you, if we were to the show Sunday before they got dusted off the court to Orlando, yes, Sacramento was starting to ball. And you look at De'Aaron Fox now with a fresh and new haircut. He's balling out. He's doing his thing. That's what I'm telling you, right? And that's another thing, right? And that's what this is so crazy. It's almost kind of like football.
Right.
Where essentially every game swings the momentum, where less is more. Right. Where like in the NFL, where we'll go from week to week, and you're like, oh, this team got a great win on the road to send third.
Right.
Here, right, and this where, I guarantee you, if Sacramento didn't get dusted off by Orlando, we'd be like, okay, Luke's revenge,
right.
Luke is coaching up them boys down in North Cal.
You know what the Grizzlies' problem is is that they know they got that A spot. Everybody, and it's almost like they number one. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lakers, and they what they should have been trying to do is, let me see, they 32. Nah, they wouldn't have been able to do it. So
Yeah,
it's
they
like they in
get
a whole nother bracket. So
they done.
now they
Yeah,
got these teams hunting for them, and I don't think they can handle it. You know what I mean? I don't
yeah.
think they can handle it. So
And then
and that's
losing the you're right. And then losing the two teams that are kind of in your quote unquote bubble per se,
right,
seeding
right,
bubble.
right,
No pun
right,
intended. But yeah, so now you're like, okay. I was like, man, if I am Portland and the team that's in Portland and Sacramento, all those teams, I am licking my chops like next week we gonna smoke Memphis. Literally.
right,
Like if
right,
when it comes to that playing game, put me in there. Cause I'm gonna beat them two times
right,
out of three. I guarantee you that.
right,
Shoot.
right,
I just feel for Memphis.
right,
And that's another thing too, where and then because Dallas is so far up, they're like seven that
right.
they're seven out. So they're pretty much gonna get in that seven spot regardless. But
How do you feel about Dallas? Seriously, how you feel about Dallas?
you
Be
know what?
honest.
I like Dallas. I've been telling
Okay.
people I'm telling you, I'm literally gonna fall on the sword and become the vice president of the Luka Doncic
Oh
fan
my
club.
God, this guy.
As a matter of fact, before we went on air today, I posted up the graphic of him having a triple double. He's the
Hmm.
youngest player to ever get a triple, have a 30 plus 20 double double. He's only 21 and like 160 some days old. I'm telling y'all better this. You know how people like
Next two
bad.
weeks is gonna be real important. I think the next
Yes,
2 weeks, because I think people getting comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because
yes,
really, a lot of the higher teams, only one that seemed like to me like they got that fire under them is, like I said, the Rockets and the Raptors.
yeah.
Because I feel like they want to make everybody nervous. But the Raptors, that's what I was saying last week, is that they scare me because they got this thing where they got more heart than you. That's how they play you. They play is
Hmm.
that they gotta, and I think it's something they coach must teach them. Like, man, you got to keep fighting us. We gonna keep you. You know what I'm saying? You can't just think that you gonna make 15, get up 15 to us, and that's it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to keep fighting. They got a will, man. They got a really, really, really tough will that I felt like the Lakers was using in November. You know what I'm saying? And what in October, November, and
Yep.
December. And I remember watching that game, and I was like, the Lakers made a move, then they made a move. Then it was the Lakers' turn, but it was like they made a move, and then Raptors made a move, and then the Lakers was like,
Right.
damn, we got like five, we got all the pressures
Right.
on us. We
Right.
wanted them to have the pressure, and then LeBron and AD go in there, then they getting blocked, and they looked around like, who is these big dudes? We never seen these guys before, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, they outwilled them, and I think that they my favorite. I'm be honest with you. They was my favorite from the
Yeah.
get go. You know what I mean? They really are. They a problem. They're a
Yeah.
problem. And I just hope that we get in that position to play them, that there's a blueprint. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That they can figure it out. But um next week and a half is going to be important because I
Hmm.
do think these guys, it's the summertime, and I think that they are getting warmed up, but I think some of them getting comfortable. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Yeah.
Some of them getting
Cause
comfortable,
yeah. Cause I think
and
and yeah. And especially I think if you're at the point where your like seating is kind of concrete, like most of
uh
it,
huh,
some certain spots are concrete, like the Lakers. I can see the Lakers kind of coasting at this point because they
hmm,
got it sold up, and just try to limit LeBron and AD a little bit more, as far as trying to keep them
hmm.
rested and also get guys involved and kind of help their confidence. But why not? But
That damn waiters, man, look like, I don't know. He made me nervous when I seen him play, man. He always look like seemed like something wrong with his leg, his foot or something. You know what I mean? When I
some
seen him
edibles,
move,
some edibles. Good old
He's a trip,
Dion.
bro. He's a
Good old
trip.
Dion Waiters. The joke that keeps on giving. He like Thanksgiving. The gift that keeps on giving.
He's
Dude.
goofy. I'm gonna let it go.
But yeah. So let's talk about the XFL.
Right.
So the XFL is back. Like, I'm just so excited. I'm glad someone purchased the XFL. Definitely huge shout out to Dwayne Rock Johnson. His ex-wife.
Right.
Yes. And let's see. So his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, and then the Redbird Capital Group
Right.
partnered up and bought the XFL for pennies on the dollar, aka $15 million.
Right.
It's back.
Right.
Man, your thoughts on it?
I just think that, shout out to the NBA, because once I started reading it more, um, once I started reading more of it, it's like, okay, let's just say the NFL don't make it. The XFL is like, hey, we can come next season and next year, and we can do a bubble format. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And once I saw that, I
Right.
said, oh, cool, that is genius. Now just to backpedal off that, shout out to Dwayne Martin. You know what I'm saying? And his ex-wife. That's so cool. Business partners, no drama. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like,
Right.
this,
Like,
that
that's
thing.
amazing.
And you know what it is too. Before I think I seen something where she was there for him when he was like they got a company called $7 products, and that was when
Yeah.
he went to I think he went to the CFL and he only had $7 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just looking at that, I was like, damn, that's what's up, man. Like $15 million, B. And like she's like the first she's gonna be hands on for everything, and he used to play he used to play football and he got passion for it. And I like it because I know he was one of those guys that played for a great school, and then your whole life you give all this to be play football, to be or play a sport, and then all of a sudden your dream diminished that you ain't gonna be able to play professionally because that's what you do it for. You do it eventually, so hopefully you can make the league. And I think that there should be other leagues. If you can't make it to the NFL, there should be other leagues that you should be able to still be professional. I hate seeing a dude that's like 6'5", 300 pounds, and he's working at Food Line putting up frozen food. You know what I'm saying? Because he couldn't
Yeah.
make. I'm not hating on him, but I know the determination and things that he's done to necessarily try to make it to play professional. But
Yeah.
I'm just happy, man. I just love when there's another way for people to have opportunities to live their dream. That's my main thing. You know what I mean? And then also as players, if it becomes a success, you have a bargain. You know what I'm saying? You got something to bring to the table. The XFL want to pay me this. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's great, man. I'm happy for it. I was entertained by it. You know what I mean? And when you have something that that is new, you could try different things. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Like I said, even with the NBA, a lot of stuff that they're doing now, they have been talking about over time anyway. You know what I mean? Bringing some tournaments and just trying to do something else to make the product more new and changeable. But I'm happy for it, man. Let me see. They said she's going to be a hands-on approach. They said they're waiting on the bankruptcy judge to approve it. Just great things. I have, nothing that is. It's like I'm happy for him, man. You know what I'm saying? It's great. Like we took that serious. We took the XFL serious.
Yeah. Because
Like,
we did weekend reviews every week
right, man.
up until
Right,
March 10th. Up until March 10th when the league got
right.
canceled the following
And they
weekend.
went haywire. Like,
Yeah.
and that's another thing too. It might not have been meant for Vince McMahon to be a part of it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's just beyond. It might not have been meant for him to be a part of it because, like, soon as it shut down, he fired this person, did that, and he's getting sued for
Off a
almost thirty
lot.
million
Yeah.
dollars. It just might not have been meant for him
Yeah.
to have his hands on it.
But yeah, this is great. I like, and then to get it for $15 million, like
Right,
a bargain. Like,
right,
and then now you're at a point where, because we don't know how long this pandemic is gonna last, so
right,
these networks are gonna be clamoring for live sports. Look what's going on
right,
now. Is it Dana White? Yeah, Dana White. I think it's Dana White.
Right. Right.
Dana White made great. He made a poignant point. Cornhole is doing numbers on ESPN. Cornhole. Matter of fact, it's a dude from Mechanicsville, Virginia, and I remember. I cannot believe I don't know this dude's name. And I got hyped. I was like, oh, that's Snap. Oh, Snap, that's dude from Mechanicsville.
Right.
But that's another thing where the teams, they're going to be clamoring for live sports. Like you said, and then like the bubble situation can work for that because you kind of isolate
a lot of teams.
Which
right.
You're right. And that's another thing too where that could be, that's a potential there. And then just to get it for that price and then having the influence of The Rock where he's going to just bring it. The thing is, they're not going to be devoid of opportunities, of financial opportunities. Like right. He's literally, he can be the face. It's almost, he's literally the face of the XFL. And when you look at it from the marketing perspective, and obviously bringing a big player, of course, like his wife, as well as Redbird Capital, it's another thing where he garners the attention. So if he runs his league, everybody else gonna be like, oh, I want to be a part of this because I know he's a marketable guy, right. This, that, and the third. It's a win-win situation. Now you have a guy who's reputable, and no knock to like a Vince McMahon, but in his own way, in a more of a marketing sense where Vince kind of burned some bridges. We can
say that theoretically. Regardless, he's a wrestling guy. He's a wrestling guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And he was doing it for the wrong reasons. It was to basically compete with the NFL. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just the truth. With The Rock being there, he's doing it for more opportunities for the sport that he really has love for. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's what I'm saying more so like I was saying, like essentially,
right.
Basically, The Rock is going to be there and he's more marketable than you got like a Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon is kind of more so like sticking it to the man. Like that type of situation. So of course, people in other words, people are gonna be more inclined to do business with The Rock than Vince McMahon, and that's as far as the burning of the bridges. But like, I mean, it's gonna be perfect, and I think the league's gonna be ran in good hands with him. And then just look at the competition level of the XFL last season, where a lot of guys who are gonna be on these NFL teams were on these XFL squads. Where that's another thing too, where that's another place where they can funnel talent to go to the NFL. It could be another potential pipeline to the and almost kind of like how we were envisioning it, prior to it being shut down. Where could this be almost like the XFL in the '80s, where essentially could you kind of get these quote unquote college athletes? Because now you're seeing what's going on now with everything, the likeness of players' images and what have you. As far as the pay for play situation, not pay for play, but the play for your likeness. That marketing aspect. Then now you're like, well, do I want to go to that model? Could it be a potential where could the XFL be a home for some of the guys that are kind of could this be somewhat of a developmental league for certain guys, or like almost like what's going on now with the G League, where you have a select team where it's a bunch of team that's comprised of guys who are probably going to be first round top picks in 2021, and they'll just play one season on one team in the G League. So the XFL is so flexible at this point, but to get it at this point. And and I think they're gonna have a leg up, especially in 2021, because you really sit down and think about it. The NFL, they're not gonna make it. I'll say that right now, August 4th, 2020. They're not gonna make it a whole entire season, so they're not gonna make it, and they're not gonna make it. Then I'm at a point where it's like I don't even hurt no more because. Like everything that's gone wrong in the sports world has gone wrong,
right?
Essentially, I mean, even everything's going good now, but I mean, as far as we know, when you don't make a plan, you're bound to fail. You're bound to fail,
right?
Like what the NFL's doing. But going back to the XFL point, where I don't know what the NBA is going to do as far as next season. As far as I know, even though they really got to really wait and see how this goes, so we really
Right.
can't even have nothing definitive for them in 2021. But the XFL might be the only professional football league that we will put that we will potentially see. So,
And I hope that the big three is smart. I hope the big three right now we ain't heard really anything about it. I might do some see if I can find something. But
yeah,
I think the NBA is giving them an idea of what to do. So I wonder if the
yeah,
big three might be able to find a way to do it too, because they really all they need is really one spot. You know what I mean? And they do it.
okay,
They do all the games over weekends. What
yeah,
Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday or something like that.
right, and
So
then
I
right,
wonder, right? I wonder if they could. I mean, the bottom line is with the NFL is that it's a lot of dudes who don't want to listen to people who have an outlook, who's open minded. I want things to be like this. Well, sir or ma'am, it can't be like that right now. You
right,
know what I
right,
mean? So we've got to move forward in some
yeah,
different type of ways. Well, why don't we just
but
let
yeah,
them? Well, why don't we just let them do the the Negro, the African American
yeah,
single spare or
and
whatever? Like
and that's
nobody
really the
cares.
league's fault, and that's what a league, and that's what a league in the NFL dropped the ball. Because
Hmm.
anytime the players are
That
complaining, and the players don't complain about nothing. I've
right,
like if you look at the labor unrest, players are quiet, like dead silent, and like yo, you know they like taking full advantage of y'all, and y'all not saying nothing, but then y'all get mad
hmm
at us because we don't know we can't defend y'all because y'all don't say nothing. But for
right,
them to say, as far as the plans in place, like you got guys like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, like guys actually like, faces of this leagues, faces of franchises, and they're talking about as far as what's going on with that, and it's just like that's bad because they don't speak up for nothing. Like
right,
NFL players don't speak up for nothing. They can be right down the street here bleeding to death,
right,
and they won't say a word. They
right,
just bleed to death.
right. And then if you do speak, they want to make you look some type of way.
Right, and that's another thing too, where that's when like I'm like, wow, like that really spoke volumes when those guys said, as far as speaking out on that. So that's another thing where I like, oh, this is not good because they'll literally go out here and just die and don't even no one know it.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I mean? This is us talking. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but they should have asked the players. You know what I mean? If they're comfortable with. It's just I don't know.
And that's
They-
another
they-
thing too, where it's because they failed to plan. They don't. That's another thing too, where, and I don't know if I can blame the NFL or not because they never went through it. So the NBA did a great job because they've been through it. So the thing they haven't been through it like the NBA has because we're
what you
gonna
mean
think
been
about
through?
it. They didn't have
Oh,
a
when
situation.
well
Yeah, like
somebody
'cause
went positive. Yeah, right,
well,
right,
yeah, because you think about it because when Rudiger, because think about it,
right, right. You
like
right,
even in, right, I'll explain it, but
right,
like what happened with Rudiger Gobert situation when they found out that he tested positive, like the hotel in Oklahoma City kicked them out, like so they had to sleep on a bus before they even could go to Utah because they had to wait for the test. No hotels in Oklahoma City was like, oh no, y'all not coming in here. Like everybody told them essentially,
right,
no, you sleeping on this bus. So that's another thing too. And then you think about it, and that's was one of my critical things about the NFL, NBA was why would you allow this team to play and you just tested a guy that you potentially think has the coronavirus? And I remember saying that like in the beginning, like the
hmm
NFL dropped the ball. I mean the NBA dropped the ball in there, but
hmm
look what happened now. They dropped the ball, but they learned from it. And
right,
that's when then the NFL and Major League Baseball, and you look at what MLB doing, they just doing it on the fly.
right,
That and guess what's happening? More cases are coming every day, and that's what's
right,
gonna happen with the NFL, where it's just like,
right,
and it's even worse for them because Lord knows the Marlins had 17 of those guys, so half the team had it. Just
Right.
imagine you have an 80 something member football team and 40 of
Right.
them got it. It's a wrap.
Right.
But
And
yeah,
I was watching an interview with D.L. Hughley talk about his first whole what he had to go through, and it was crazy. He couldn't get flights. He
right,
could he was getting sent out of hotel rooms, and he said it's one thing for you being a regular person that has it, but when you a celebrity,
and got
it's
it.
worse. It's because everybody's going to know you can't stay in hotels, you can't do this, you can't even
Right,
fly. Like he
right.
said that he got a crew of friends they call themselves the spread, and he had to FaceTime them, some comedian home celebrity homeboys. He said he would have
Mm-hmm.
to FaceTime them for them to like call this private this guy who owns a private have private airplanes or jets or whatever, and say
Mm-hmm.
if you don't take him to bring him home, blah blah blah, then we're gonna cut ties. So it was like that's like 25 grand. So they was like he said when I went in there, man, they had plastic on everything and blah blah blah. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And you
Yeah.
don't even
Mm-hmm.
understand
Right.
the other aspect of it, and that's why I
Right.
think that the NFL need to look at. Like, what if it's something end up happening and people end up getting it? It's going to be more
Right.
financially chaotic than you think. And the major
Right.
league is probably going through that now, and they just don't want nobody to know. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
because
saying?
that's what happened like with Miami. Because Miami was almost the same because they between them going from Philadelphia to Miami, they got it. And that's another
Hmm.
thing with the NFL where if you're on a road trip and you leaving and then you found out what's going on, if he tested negative or not, and it's like where you gonna go? Because literally you could probably be sleeping on that bus because like you said, like with the DL situation, like with Rudy Gobert, everybody in America knew that Rudy Gobert had coronavirus.
Right.
So, and they know he played for the Utah Jazz. So, if 15 of his teammates want somewhere to stay, they ain't not doing that.
Right.
Not at all. It's that poses as a risk.
Right.
Like, because just imagine if you say, hey, and just as an example, if one of the teams, one of the hotels that Utah in, you think they're gonna get any more guests? Hell no.
Right.
Cause like, oh, that's where such and so stayed.
He said DL said he was walking to his favorite hotel. He said and he had his dog with him. And he said as he was walking in there, everybody was looking at him like, and he said
Right.
the owner came there and said, "Sir, we would like for you to leave. You're making everybody uncomfortable."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and that's that whole scenario. And that's why I was talking to somebody about that, and they kept
Right.
talking about the media and it's fake and this and that. I'm like, man, I don't know if it is, but I know when you
But still,
positive or you know somebody that's positive,
it's real.
it's a whole weird situation. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because you don't know
Right.
what to do. You want to help them. You don't know how to help them, and that's the whole thing. Don't nobody really know anything.
You're defenseless.
No,
You're
you know what I mean?
defenseless. But yeah, man, it's a trip. So let's put a bow in this week's Couch Coach Live. Who gets this week's game ball?
Oh man, I really didn't necessarily have too much, but
Okay.
I know I'll pitch it to myself. How about that? I get the game ball. I
Okay.
had
All
to.
right.
My brother is going to Mississippi State, and
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
had to go up there, and he. Oh, I don't worry, Sean. I got TSA. I could just go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that shit was hard, bro. Like you talk about crying in the bathroom by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
God, but it's just a great situation.
Yeah.
It's cool that then I had to sit down and think and like damn who I know in the area. So shout out to our family, Yo Yo and the Don, you know what I'm saying? So Yo Yo said she still be going to Tuscaloosa. And I got another
Okay.
homeboy down there, so they said they'd go check him
Yeah.
out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what's
But
up. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yep. So guys, gotta go to Devon Harmon, the number one cornerback in the state of Virginia that hails at my alum, Highland Springs High School. The number
Hmm.
one defensive back in the class of 2021. He
Hmm.
declared he's going to the University of Oklahoma. So he'll be
Wow.
playing his
Congrats.
ball in Norman, Oklahoma. A young man from 15 South Oak Street is going to take his talents to Norman, Oklahoma.
Wow.
You know what? You can't. make this stuff up. And that's great, man. It's great for the program. It's great for everybody, man.
Right.
Norman,
Right.
Oklahoma.
That's
Be
crazy,
going
man.
going down. Going to be going down there with old. Yep, yep. That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be
All this
crazy.
stuff's crazy. I hope. Do you think anything? You think this stuff gonna get back normal, or this is the new normal, man?
I mean, I think it's gonna. I think it's. I don't think we're gonna get back to. I mean, no. I'm not
You don't
anytime
know.
soon. No, not everything. I mean, certain things are gonna go back. It's like everything now, where it's gonna be. It's gonna be a new normal. I don't think we're gonna be
Mhm.
going back to certain things. Like as far as packing out football stadiums, it's gonna be a while before that
Yeah,
happens.
man. Yeah,
I mean,
because I was
cause
just sitting here thinking about,
I don't
man,
think so. Right.
that's supposed to be a good girl basketball school. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi State,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
ACC,
Mm-hmm.
man. So, you know what I'm saying? And I
Yep.
was just like, that shit crazy, bro.
Yeah, man. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Final thoughts.
Man, we got through it. It was a little rough in the beginning, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Doing
Audio.
this.
Yeah. Audio was a little screwed
But
up, but yeah.
I think we're gonna have more intense conversations, man, as more and more of this stuff unfold. Because still think our subject is basically these sports dealing with this virus. It seemed like our subject even got a little deeper once we talk about it. Shout out to the XFL and everybody who's taking the chance to understand. Let's just keep this stuff situated and safe in a bubble. And I wish the NFL. It might be too late. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh
I
yeah.
wish
It's
they would have
late.
figured out a way to have it in a bubble also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Because truth be told, I think if they just think about if they'd have started in March and had started having everybody in the bubble, you know what I mean? By this whole summertime, if they'd have figured out some type of way to
Yeah.
do it, it'd have been they would have been able we might be able to have a season, but I do think that I I don't think I don't think
Yeah.
and they
Yeah. They
not as
should have.
disciplined to me.
Yeah. And they should have created some type of housing within their own training facilities where the
Right.
guys stayed, and
Mm-hmm.
almost like kind of like dorm like. And
Mm-hmm.
other than that, it's not gonna work. I can see college football potentially working
Mm-hmm.
because they're in a bubble, but then a lot of it too, where there's gonna be a lot of reckless guys, and I mean, they 18 to
Mm-hmm.
22, guys gonna be guys. I mean,
Football players are
you know,
worse than basketball players.
absolutely right, and because you gotta think about it, because some of them can move in silence because most people don't even know who they are.
Right.
Versus basketball, is like they know who you are, so
Mm-hmm.
there gonna be a tons of Lou Williams is going to certain things, getting wings and doing what they got to do. Wings, thighs, and legs. But I'm just saying.
I know.
I mean, I
I'm just
mean,
laughing.
18
I'm
to
just laughing.
22, 18 to 22. Why not? As once upon in a man's life at 18 to 22. And we ain't talking about lemon pepper wings or barbecue. Lemon pepper barbecue wings, none of that tonight.
Oh,
Perhaps. But hey, I mean, self control is already difficult at any age. But just at 18 to 22, we always have an insatiable appetite to bend the rules.
mm-hmm.
They're guys. You know, we always that once upon a time in our lives. Lucky enough to survive that point in my life.
I just
You
realized
know.
that you said that the Clippers lost to the Nets. I just realized that.
Oh no, they lost to the Clippers. No, the Clippers lost to the Suns.
Oh, they lost to the Suns. Even
Yeah, they
worse.
lost to the Suns.
Wow.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What? Did
Devin
you watch
Booker.
the game? Did you watch the game?
Yeah.
What was the? Was it just Booker killing them, or I might have to watch the highlights?
It was. I mean, it was a combination. Like Booker was doing his thing, but like Booker, because Booker hit that fadeaway over Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I was like, oh boy,
Well, how Kawhi
that's
look?
pretty
I
good.
just keep thinking. I just keep
Kawhi,
thinking
like,
that something wrong is wrong with Kawhi.
well,
B.
no, but
He
Kawhi, but the
can't.
Kawhi is like that though. Like Kawhi is just weird. Like I don't know Kawhi. I don't know Kawhi. I don't know if Kawhi is just focused. Is that just his way? Kawhi is a mystery. That's what I'm saying. Kawhi, I don't know. I mean, Kawhi. I think Kawhi just look at you and is like,
You see
he
the
don't.
dude,
He doesn't give you. Oh, the more shit. I'm like, yo, this is weird, yo. He was scaring me. Like, if they still have roommates, he was scared the shit out of me. Kawhi,
like that, like that
cause I be
dude.
so.
What was his
Yeah,
name?
right.
The
Kyrie.
dude from
Anyway, anyway, so yeah, and that was scary because look, you know how he went from, like different face modes like that instant. That would literally scare me. Just imagine if you sitting having dinner or whatever, and he just go from one face to the other like yo, what the fuck is wrong? What the hell is what is wrong with this guy? What's wrong with this guy?
so you went to the took a shower. You come in there. He's sitting in the dark staring at you.
I'm like, yo, you weird, yo, you weird, Kawhi.
It was like,
But I don't know
nah.
shit. But yeah, that's just Kawhi. And then what shit? Lou back, Lou back. Lemon pepper barbecue. Lou back.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go. The
He
other
played
clip,
tonight?
the other LA. Yeah, he played. He played. A little
Well,
tick in. He got a
no.
little tick. And I think Trey's coming back. I think Trey's gonna be coming back soon. So I think he kind of broke his silence today. And I think he's been going through some stuff, but he good though. He gonna be all
From
right.
Trev.
Yeah, Trey's gonna be good. He gonna be all right.
What's wrong? Some personal
I think
stuff?
it's his best friend died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he I think he'll be coming back soon. I think he just had to, he had to deal with it. I mean, it's life. But Trey's good, and we're ready to get that bet going in September.
You keep talking
In
about it.
the Western Conference Finals. Let's go.
Excuse me, they just lost to the Suns, bro. That you should be worried. I'm like, what?
No, it's one game. That's another thing too. It's just one game, and that's another thing. Like honestly, if we got to really sit down and think about it, if LeBron James can get that damn offensive rebound, 1-0, shot the lights out against the Pelicans, and then if Devin Booker didn't get that miraculous, not lucky, but miraculous fadeaway shot, we've been going over. They've been going to overtime, potentially, going 3-0. So who's to say?
I just think you ain't looking at it because the first game they beat the Lakers. LeBron and they didn't even do anything. The second time they had them up in Christmas, but they lost focus. Right?
Yeah.
The third time they really showed something like, okay, you got to, like you said, you got to make a decision. You're gonna put Beverly back in, who's in foul trouble, or you're gonna keep Lou Williams in. He kept Lou Williams in, and he got him right. He got embarrassed, and then this time, they should have won.
And guess what? And then you gotta think about it. This team did not have Montrez, and they have Trez or Lou.
Right. But it's always that though. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's always that they didn't have this or they didn't have that. I'm telling you.
But that's what I'm saying. And I'm gonna put it this way: if the Lakers if the Lakers didn't have Anthony Davis or a stretch,
right?
Yes, that's gonna be legitimate because like that, you can't lose 37 points of production and think you can win a game. That's impossible.
Still got
that's 30. I know, but I'm saying that's one game. But I'm saying, but I guarantee you. No. I know, but I'm talking about this particular situation in a bubble.
I got you. And you're right.
Yeah, but I'm saying, and that's so. I'm gonna be real with you. Just imagine if we do play theoretically,
right?
Anthony Davis out.
Right.
Hell yeah, that's a big difference because that's the only player. That's the only player that they can't stop. So if he's gone, it's a wrap. And same thing with the Clippers. If they don't, that's their calling card is their depth. Where they have 4 good players. 2 of them come off the bench.
Really,
right? So that's what I'm saying. Really, well, Lou and Trez.
The mother dude in foul trouble.
But that's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying.
Right.
When you lose that production, regardless of anybody, if Milwaukee is without Giannis in a series or whatever, they're gonna suffer. Joel Embiid, if something happens to him, you're done. Like like when I talk about Memphis.
I got you.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's one other thing too, where I understand it's next man up, but
Mhm.
sometimes when that next man up is carrying the weight, it's a wrap. Like
Yeah, I
that's
got you.
great and all.
I'm
It's
just saying
that's
it's
that's a
something
great
going on
for
with him.
that's a great for a T-shirt, but you ain't winning basketball games with that mantra
Yeah.
sometimes.
I'm just saying there's something else going on with that team. I'm telling y'all, it's something else going on with that team. Like
Yeah.
and the thing that I think people should look at is they keep doing stuff to basically poke at LeBron. Like they went and got Joakim Noah. Like you out of everybody, you go get Joakim Noah. Like why? Why?
But
Because
that's what
you know why. It's just to build that
bodies,
bull
bodies,
build that bullshit. It's just to build that bullshit
bodies.
narrative. He's supposed to be one of them enemies with LeBron when they should be just trying to put the best team they could put together, and they're
Well,
really not.
who you gonna get
But
off the street at this point at 30 a 34-year-old guy off the street? He came off the street. Who you was gonna get? I mean, who you was gonna get?
so who you picking? So who you picking between? So who is the Clippers right now with they where they seated? Who are they playing in the
They'll
playoffs?
probably play Dallas. They'll play
Right.
Dallas.
Who you picking? I think that's
The
dangerous.
Clippers. The Clippers.
Right.
Even though I'm a fan club, I'm the president. I'm the president of the Luka Doncic fan club. But yeah, I got the Clippers.
Right. And you would think that
Oh,
too, but
it's gonna be interesting though. It's
I
gonna be an
think it was
interesting
gonna be
series. It ain't
dangerous.
gonna. It ain't gonna be like a sweep or nothing. I mean, they gonna get a fight. I mean, all these series gonna be a fight. It ain't gonna be ain't nothing's gonna be
Just
won
like the
easily.
just like when I watched the Utah game, right? And I'm sitting there
Yeah,
watching it, and I was like, this shit look like the last few times we played them. They always
yeah,
break down at the last minute. It's
that's
like
yeah,
you
that's
got
yeah.
everything's on Mitchell, everything, and then they trying to they kept trying to set up alley oops like every time it'd be a pick and roll, and then they so alley kept throwing lobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They how long you think Clarkson is gonna be in the league?
as long as you want to. That's a weird about the league, dude. Like these people, man. If Jared Dudley is still in this league, he damn near almost 40. Everybody got shot to be in the league.
You won. I'm done. You won.
I mean, no offense to Jared Dudley, but it's the truth.
He
If he know how
basketball
to, if he
smart.
know, if you know how to play, if you know how to play your role, man, you will stay in the NBA for the rest of your life.
That's why they lost that game last night, W. Like
Who?
he's him. He don't know how to not be a gun. He's a gun. It's
Right.
one thing to be a scorer, but he's a gun.
Yeah.
Like he's just shooting threes. I'm like, bro, why don't you just drive and get fouled or something?
But yeah, the league, yeah, the league can let you stay for a while. You gotta do some really crazy stuff to be out the league. He'll be there for a little while.
One more question.
Yeah.
Um, what is the X? Do you know the XFL's situation with getting high school players? Like, do they have to go to college or?
I don't. I mean, I think it's just more so just like professional. I don't think they're gonna be. I don't. That's what. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I'm hoping they could do where they can get like college athletes or something like that. I don't think they really haven't set anything in stone. I think we kind of created that idea. I know I created that idea, but
Okay.
nothing
Because
set
I
in
was just
stone.
wondering.
But
I was wondering if, like a player that don't have the grades that can't go to college, if he could just come, you know what I'm saying, and
yeah,
play with them. You know.
shoot, yeah, or last chance you. but But yeah, I mean, it would be a good opportunity. I think wherever that's another thing where they can create that pipeline, which I'm hoping that that does happen, where it just creates more opportunities for guys to go to the league. Because really, that's the goal is really to get to the big show,
Mhm.
as they say in
Okay.
as they say in the minors. But yeah, man. So it's been this week's couch collab. Man, any other parting words?
No, that's it, man. Appreciate being here
Yes,
with you.
sir.
I
Yes,
know you're a
sir.
busy
Yes,
man.
sir. I try, man. I try. I try. Just trying to push the brand forward.
I
So
got
man,
you.
this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week.